is there's no word mean or average. There's no list of numbers. That's your data. There's no X bar. So this is a proportion. So we got to remember easy peasy. And that'll help us remember it's two proportions. So we have two proportions. So we have group 1 and group 2. Group 1, let's see, what are we doing? We're comparing, claim is that money in large denominations is less likely to be spent compared to an amount in small denominations. So in other words, the proportion of large people given a large denomination, a dollar bill, they should spend it to show a smaller proportion than the people who are given 4 quarters. So they're saying that group 1 is less likely than group 2. So P1 is less likely than P2. So you should kind of be looking at that, which means you need to find your P hat 1, right, and your P hat 2 from here, remembering that B and P is equal to X over N. And you also have to find P bar. In other words, if you pulled them together into one large group, then what would be the proportion of people who spent total proportion? If you made them one group, big, large group, the total, what's the total number of people who spent money out of the total number of people there are? So what proportion is that? Your P bar and your Q bar. So you're going to need those to run these things. So this is a 2 proportion. I'm going to go ahead and send you guys back in and give you guys, maybe another 5 minutes to work on this, and then we'll come in and we'll work on some more. Go ahead and start this going again. Terrific. So today, we're doing quiz 9293. We were commiserating earlier a second ago about how awful it is to do this online, and I'm sorry, guys. I wish there was a better way of doing it, and I just don't know. I feel like and let me know if you guys disagree, but I feel like at least doing it this way, when I'm making guys talk a little bit, and we're doing some group work, and I'm here, I feel like it goes better than if I just give you a video and send you off on your own, because I feel like it's easier if you have a video to just skip the video or check out or have the video on but really be paying attention to something else instead. So I'm hoping that this is better. If you let me know though if you think that the asynchronous video stuff was better. Okay, so we are doing, we're going to go through 9.4 today. We're going to start in on that. You have 9.1, 9.5 due tonight. You have Lab 5 due tomorrow. Just turn it into me, email it to me by tomorrow night. So that's going to be the Excel file you need to turn in, and then also 2 pages you need to scan or just take pictures of. So when you guys turn stuff in, these scans, you don't have to actually scan them with a scanner. You can just take a picture, take your phone and take a picture of your sheet, and then use your phone to get onto Canvas and upload them. You have to upload them one file at a time, one page at a time. So upload the file, and then say you want to, and then say add another file, and then upload that file on the next page, and then add another file, and then upload the next page. So you got to do that one at a time. You can for the Lab 5, there's 2 pages you need to take pictures of and email me. So email me those 2 pages and also the Excel sheet. So you can do them separately. Like if the Excel sheet's on your computer, just email it to me from the computer, and if you take pictures of the sheets with your phone, you can email me those from your phone, that's fine. And then Thursday you have Connect Math 9.3 due, and then Sunday you have Connect Math 9.4 due. So in 5 days you have Connect Math 9.4 stuff we're going over today. And then next Thursday, after the exam, you can do Lab 5 late for full credit. You can turn that one in if you don't get it in tomorrow. Okay, so the exam 3 is on April 21st, covering chapters 7 through 9. It's basically going to be like 8 problems, 1 for each thing we cover. So, a hypothesis test for proportions, a hypothesis test for means, a confidence interval for proportions, confidence interval for means, finding n problem, right? Finding sample size to be within a certain error for a confidence interval, and then the 3 types of chapter 9 problems we're going to be doing, like the 2 you have on the quiz today, and then the one we're going to learn today. The review session is going to be next Monday from 3 to 4:30 and from 6:30 to 8 in Zoom. Here's the meeting number and the link. It's the same as my office hours, so it's basically that same thing. Exam 3, why am I reading? Vanessa, go ahead and read. Or Jay? Jay, you can read.
Vanessa C.
Yeah, Vanessa C.
You may take it at 2, 5, or 7:30 on April 21st, but it must be at one of these times. Let me know if you are taking it at a different time than your class. Do the practice test for one exam point in Canvas under quizzes, which must be done in the Chrome browser. You also need a webcam. If you do not have a webcam, email me for the alternate test and what time you want to do it, so you can Zoom on your phone with me. You must take this practice exam before April 21st. If you do not, and then cannot get Factorio working correctly, then you will have to take a zero on the exam. If using a laptop webcam, create a platform.
Right, that's funny actually. Right, so there's a practice exam. So if you go to Canvas, let me get my little pictures out here. If you go to Canvas and you go to quizzes, which is down here somewhere, I think. Then they'll pull up this part here, and you won't see the 7-1 because that's hidden. That's actually gone. But you should do the test of Proctorio, remotely proctored. That's your practice test. That's just a practice. It's worth 1 point on your exam. If you do not have a webcam, or if you don't have a webcam that you can point down slightly, then you can do this one. But you have to Zoom it with me. So you got to email me so that I can add this to your list. You won't see it until you email me, and then I'll add you to the list of this one, and then you can see it. And you can do that one with me while you're Zooming. So let me know what time is a good time if you don't have a webcam to take it. Is there anybody who doesn't have a webcam? Just give me in the chat and say, I don't have a webcam, or I can't use my webcam with it. And then once you do it, the test will have you, scan your area, and then position your camera so you can see your hands. And if you're Zooming with your phone, you still position your phone on the Zoom so I can see your hands. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. And then at the end, so you'll have 5 minutes to kind of scan and get your camera set up. You'll have an hour and 50 minutes for the exam, plus 10 minutes of bonus time. So I'm going to give you 2 hours. And then afterwards, you get 5 minutes to take pictures of each of your pages and upload those. So then you're going to see where it says upload results of test of Proctorio. That's where you're going to upload them. So you upload them there. And like I said, you have to upload them one at a time. Yep. Okay. So yes, so using your books. Let me show you what I mean. So what I would recommend you do is you're going to push your camera down a little bit, and then you can take a couple of books or magazines, but like a stack, like something kind of hefty, right, kind of thicker like this. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. And maybe I have to turn off my, it's a thick book, about maybe, pretty thick book. And put 2 of them down, get 2 of them and set them down side by side. And then you can kind of work on your test. And I don't even need to see your working surface. I just need to be able to see your hands. As long as I can see your hands, I don't have to be able to read or see the paper you're writing on, as long as I can see your hands like this. So this is what I need to be able to see. So I moved my camera, my laptop back about a foot. If you want to actually be even more sure you've got everything covered, you can move it back a couple feet, and then I can totally see your whole surface area, and then it's a lot easier. Otherwise, if you're in closer, as long as you have good enough eyes to read, I don't know if you do or not. Otherwise, I kind of want you to keep, if you have a Z table or X or, other stuff, I need you to be able to, you can reach for it, but then I need you to kind of show it and look at it and then put it back so I can kind of see what you're doing, if that makes any sense. Right, so if you're going to grab something off camera, just kind of grab it quickly. Don't go grabbing and looking over here somewhere, because that's weird. But just grab it, show it to me so I can see I can see what you've got. And then, here, I'll use this one. So I can see what you've got, and then use it, and then put it back. Or like I said, if you really want to, if you want to move it back so that it's 2 feet, 20 inches back, then I can kind of have everything here, and I can kind of see you doing stuff, and that's all good. Questions about that? What notes are allowed to use? Yes, so you get your magic formula sheet, which has all the formulas you need. I'm going to double click this a little bit. So, right, so this is, let's push back a little bit further. So you can kind of see, I can kind of see everything you've got here, and I can kind of see you working on stuff. It's fine. So your magic formula sheet. And you can have also your T table. You have to have a T table. You need a T-table. If you do not have a T-table and you don't have access to a printer, email me your address and I will mail you a copy of the tables and your magic formula sheet because you need them. So if you don't have access to a printer and you can't get to Pleasanton or you can't get to Tracy, like I said, email me your address and I will, I can just drop a copy in the mail. But do that today so that I can drop it in the mail by Thursday so that you can have it before Tuesday. And you get a half page of sheets, half page of notes, one-sided, that you can, handwritten notes. So kind of the standard sort of stuff. And then obviously you need to have a TI calculator. You have to have a TI 83 or 84. You really can't do it without that. Because you're going to need to. You might want to be able to use the stat tests, and you're definitely going to be able to do put things into a list, because I might give you a list of numbers, right? Your data, and you need to put those into lists, and you need to do stat calc 1-bar stats in order to find your X bar and your S. So that will be very likely to be on your exam. So like I said, again, you're going to want to have, a couple of books that you can kind of have to kind of raise your working surface up a little bit, and then that way you don't have to tilt your camera down very far, and I can still see your hands working, and it's all good. Okay. Any other questions? Right. I know it's kind of hard. It's a little bit of a pain, and believe me, this is not at all how I want to do this semester at all. But, you don't have to scan your room. I kind of realize that that's kind of ridiculous. It's fine. Just have your stuff trained on your area, and that's totally good. Okay.
Professor Young?
Yes. Jay?
For the practice exam, how many questions are on that test? How long will it take?
So your exam, most of you will finish in about an hour, and this exam, probably an hour and 30 minutes, most likely. Some of you will finish up in 45 minutes. And some of you, almost all of you guys will be done by 2 hours. There'll be a couple of you who will want longer, but even if you had longer, you wouldn't get any more points, honestly. It's just, it kind of works like that. It's about an hour. It's about an hour and 20-minute test, roughly. Hour and a half.
Well, I was asking about the practice test under quizzes.
Oh, yeah. The practice one, there's one problem. I have you basically copy down a sentence and upload it. It's 1 point, and it's basically just to give you some practice using Proctorio and uploading your results. You also have to, Jay, can you go ahead and read this part here?
Okay, Exam 3. Exam 3 will cover chapters 7, 8, and 9. The study guide is in Canvas under Study Guide. You will also need your T-table, the magic formula sheet, half page of handwritten notes, and 6 blank papers with your class time, initials, and W number written at the top. If you are taking the exam at a different time, please write that also. Example, it's 5 p.m. class, taking at 2 p.m. Once you start the exam, you will have 5 minutes to scan the area in front of you, your working area, and get your camera position so that it shows your hands. If using a webcam attached to your computer, I suggest maybe making a raised working area by putting a couple large books down. It should be closed, not open to a page.
Great. So again, you're going to have 6 sheets of blank paper, and across the top you're going to write in your time, so it's 5 o'clock for you guys, and then your initials, and then your W number. That way I know, I can tell them apart, but I don't know whose it is, because when I grade them, I just grade them all together. I don't want to know whose is whose. So I need that written at the top of every single one of your sheets, and you're going to need 6 blank papers, because I'm going to want, on the first sheet, I'm going to want problems 1, probably just problem number 1 on the first sheet. On the second sheet, I'm going to want problems 2 and 3. And on the third sheet, I'm going to want maybe just problems 4. And then on the next year I want problems 5 and 6, right? And then next page is 7 by itself, and the last page is 8 by itself in the extra credit or something like that. So I need you're going to need 5 blank pieces of paper. On the top, you can just write in your class time, 5 o'clock, your initials, and your W number. Everybody good with that part? So you need to make sure you bring that as well as your TI calculator. Okay. You are allowed to pay. Did I answer that already? Yeah. Page of. Okay, good. Cool. The goal of the experiment or survey. So actually, I'm going to switch over to this one because it's probably better. So again, oops, too big.
Professor Young?
Yeah.
I have a question. Okay, so you provided us an exam for practice, chapter 7 through 9, which is consistent of like 2 pages, and then you also provided us a study guide. Do you suggest we do all of them, or?
Okay, so the practice exam I'm going to go through with you guys in class. That is not for you to do as a study guide. The study guide is what you should be doing as a study guide. Does that make sense? So the study guide, that's the one you should be focusing on. The practice exam is just, let's do some more stuff during class to kind of help you prepare. So the practice exam, we'll be working on that in class, next class, and in the review session. I will not post those answers online. You got to be in class and look at the in-class notes, or be at the study guide session or the review session, or look at those notes to see the answers there. But the study guide, all the answers to the study guide are up with solutions in the study guide section of Canvas. So that's a great question.
You have half-page notes, right?
Yes, half-page of notes, handwritten by you. Totally. All right, so a confidence interval. So after we've taken our sample, some of the things we can do is, one thing we could do is we can take a confidence interval, right? If we don't know the mean, we can estimate it. That's chapter 7 stuff. Or if we do know the population mean, but we have our own population, we want to see if our population differs from everybody else. So we take a sample of our population, compare that to the general population, that's chapter 8. And then in chapter 9, we're taking 2 different populations and we're comparing them. You know, like left hands to right hands, or boys to girls, or something like that. Or like we had large nursing home versus small nursing homes. So then let's take a look. We have the null hypothesis. This is the first thing we talked about in chapter 9, which is 2 proportions. So if we're comparing 2 proportions, easy peasy, you should be using a z-table. Again, proportions are when it doesn't say mean or average, it's a proportion then. So we have the null hypothesis. Null is always no difference. So in other words, they're equal. P1 is equal to P2. Or you could say that P1 minus P2 is equal to 0. There's no difference between them. There's also pooled sample. You need this in order to do your problem. How do you find the pooled sample? Well, it's like you mix them all together into one giant pool. You take all of your successes, x1 plus x2, take all of your n's, n1 plus n2, and you find the total proportion. So the total of your x's over the total of your n's. That's how you find the pooled proportion P bar. Q bar is equal to 1 minus P bar. You need this in order to do your step 3 in the problem you just did, the quiz problem. So again, remember that P is equal to x over n, and sometimes we have P and n and we need to find x, so x is equal to NP. The test stat is the only other thing that changes. So it's just step 1, hypothesis, and step 3 that are different than the regular stuff you guys are used to. Steps 2, 4, and 5 are exactly the same. So step 3, your test stat is equal to P1 minus P2 divided by square root of this right here. But a lot of times your notes will write it like this, and this is actually a little bit easier maybe for people to understand or use. Square root of P bar Q bar. So again, you need that P bar and Q bar, the pooled sample, times 1 over n1 plus 1 over n2. and then don't forget to square root it before you divide. So I highly recommend you find the numerator, and then find the denominator, and then divide them. Find the top first, and then find the bottom, and then divide them afterwards. It's just a lot easier. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys, let's go ahead and go through, yeah, are you guys ready to go through the quiz problem number 1? Do you guys want 5 more minutes? No, you want 5 more minutes, or no, you don't want 5 more minutes? Okay, we'll go and go through it then. So here's quiz problem number 1. The claim is money in large denominations is less likely to be spent than smaller denominations. So in other words, P1 is less than P2. That's your claim. So H0 is always equals P1 equals P2. H1 is my claim. P1 is less than P2. So since my claim is H1, I'm going to be using the word support. So I'm going to put support in parentheses for myself. So I'm going to use that for my step 5. Then you might as well find your P hat 1 or P hat 2. So please note, I'm not saying that P hat 1 is less than P hat 2. I'm saying that all of P1, like everybody in the world who's given a $1 bill is P1, and everybody in the world who's given 4 quarters is P2. Those populations, P1 is going to be less than P2. This is just a sample. P hat is just a sample of 46 people. So 12 out of 46, 0.261 is my P hat 1, and P hat 2 is going to be 27 out of 43, 0.628. And then my P bar, my total successes, 12 plus 27 over my total number of people, 46 plus 43 down here. So that's 39 over 89, 0.438. So then my Q hat is 1 minus that, 0.562. Okay, so those are the numbers you needed. And then we're going to find my critical value. Let's see, this is 0.05. It's less than, so it's one-tailed less than, so it's on the left side. So now I'm going to pull out my handy-dandy T-table. And it's proportion. So easy peasy, right? Proportion, easy peasy. P, proportion, Z table. So alpha's one-tailed, left-tailed, 0.05. Proportions are Z, so all the way down to the bottom. 1.645. 1.645, but it's negative because it is left-tailed. So negative 1.645, draw it in, shade. And then my test stat, P1 minus P2 over square root of Q bar, P bar, Q bar times 1 over N1 plus 1 over N2. So the first part, 0.261, that's my P hat 1 I found here, minus 0.628, my P hat I found there, my P hat 2. So that top part's going to be negative 0.367. So find the numerator. And then the bottom's going to be square root of P bar Q bar, 0.438 times 0.562 times 1 over 46 plus 1 over 43. So if I find this bottom part and then square root it, so here, let's go ahead and go through that very quickly. Okay, so I've got, again, it's easier to work your way inside out. So start with the smallest, the most inward stuff, so inside the square root and then inside the parentheses. 1 divided by 46 plus 1 divided by 43. Okay, so find that parentheses first. That's that, and then multiply by, that's this part here, multiplied by 0.438 and multiplied by 0.562. So since those are commutative, doesn't matter which one you do first. And I'm going to get 0.011076, and that's inside the square root. So now I need to square root this. The easiest way to square root that is raise it to the 1/2 power, raise it to the 0.5 power, and I get 0.1052. That's my denominator. Okay, and then we divide those, and I get negative 3.489. So I'm going to throw that in here. My test stat is negative 3.489. That's really, really negative. That's super far away, so it's totally in the rejection region. You guys can see that. Right, it's totally guilty. So I'm going to reject H naught. And it's guilty, so I have enough evidence, right? So there is enough evidence to support, because remember, H1 is my claim. I'm going to use the word support there. Enough evidence to support the claim that money in large denominations is less likely to be spent. Questions? Are you guys all asleep?
Did you say that you squared the
Square rooted.
denominator?
Square root it. Square root it. So you raise it to the 1/2 power, to the 0.5 power. If I squared it, I'm raising it to the second power. I'm raising it to the 1/2 power. That's square rooting it. So whatever you get inside of here, you have to square root it. See this little square root right here? You have to square root that. Raise it to the 0.5, the 1/2 power, or square root it. And once you do that, you'll get 0.1052.
Got it, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. And then let's take a... Yeah.
I got negative 3.487.
That's fine. That's
okay.
if you got negative 3.47 to 3.50, then you're close enough. That's totally fine. As long as you showed your work, totally fine. Okay. As long as you're within 1% of the actual value. So if you take a look, see this 3 here? So go over 2 decimal places. You can be off by 3 in this spot here, and it's totally within 1%. It's not a big deal. Okay. Angel, go ahead and read for us.
What if we want to compare the means of 2 samples, experimental versus control group? Each sample has its own X bar and mu, cars with gas additive versus cars without.
Yeah. So H naught is always, always, always equals. So we're talking about means now, right? So we're going to have 2 samples. One sample is going to have its own X bar. So you have X bar 1, mu 1, S1, and S and N, and N1. So here we're saying that the mean of the first one is equal to mu of the second one. And H1 will be one of these, not equal to, greater than, or less than, depending on what your claim is. Again, like we talked about last class, they both have to be simple random samples, they have to be independent, and either they have to be, either your sample size must be larger than 30, or they have to be approximately normally distributed. This is the only other thing that changes. So H naught, step 1 changes a little bit, and step 3. Here is your test stat for step 3. It's this right here. X bar 1 minus X bar 2 over square root of S1 squared over N1 plus S2 squared over N2. And degrees of freedom is equal to the smaller n. Whichever n is small, you have 2 n's here. Take the smaller one and subtract 1. That's your degrees of freedom. It's not perfect, but it's close enough for what we're doing. You'll notice this is your magic formula sheet. So this is the test stat we used for problem 1. See that? And then over here is the one we're going to be using for this problem. And again, on your sheet, you've crossed out this part here, and degrees of freedom, you've used the smaller n minus 1 is what you've used here. Also, please note that you take that degrees of freedom and use the t-table to find your critical value. That's where you do with it. Take that smaller n minus 1 as your degrees of freedom in the t-table, and your critical value is always, always, always with that t-table. The only other thing that's different is this H naught. It's mu1 equals mu2. All right, so why don't we do quiz problem number 2? And I'm going to put you back in your breakout rooms, and let's go 12 minutes, and then take a 10-minute break. So go until 6, and then take a 10-minute break, and we'll come back at 6:10. I think that'll work. So I'll open those up, and then you guys should be able to do your quiz problem 2. Here's quiz problem 2 if you don't have it. And then you hop into breakout rooms, get it done, and then I'm not going to tell you, just take a break from 6 to 6:10, okay? And we'll come back. I'll bring you guys back in at 6:10. If you have a question, either pop back in, raise your hand, I think is a way of doing that one, or pop back in and ask me if I don't respond to that. Oh, wait, before you guys go. Oh. Shoot. I am so sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I meant to do a couple things. So first of all, is this a mean or proportion problem? Which one is it first before I send you off on your own? So find the word mean or average. Yeah, you see the word average right here? Totally it's a mean problem because you have the word average right there. Oh, you also have an X bar. You guys see that right there? Okay, so it's a mean, which means it's going to be mean Mr. T. And then the other thing is someone had a question of, how do you know what your N is? So here's the deal. What we have done is we've sampled. And how many people have we sampled? We've sampled a sample of the number of sports offered by 50 colleges. So we found that we sampled the number of sports offered by 50 colleges. So I go up to a college, and what do I ask them about their number of sports? What's the question I'm asking them? What's your hypothesis? Andre?
The average number offered by male is...
I'm just getting the number from them. Yeah, what's the number of sports that you offer for males? What's the number of sports you offer for females? So I go up to a college, I go to LPC, our athletic director, and say, hey, how many sports do you offer for males and how many you offer for females? I do that to 50 different colleges. So my N is going to be, I've asked 50 colleges about their males and about their females. So my N is going to be 50 for both of those. All right, I'm going to send you guys back out. Hey, you guys, check in with your neighbors. At least talk to them a little bit because it keeps you a little more present in this, because it's so hard to stay present during this type of environment. So really try to talk with your neighbors about this a little bit. Okay, I'll send you back out there. Sorry.
Mrs. Young?
Yeah.
Quick question. On this one, we have to do the, like, P hat, and then...
No. It's
right? Okay.
It's a mean.
Just making sure on that.
Yeah, this is a mean. So no P's involved, right? No P hats, no P knots. We're talking about X bars and Mu's. Yep, totally.